Meve spied the outline of Malabon Castle on the horizon and turned dour. True, no golden suns waved atop its towers, yet that did not mean those within supported her. Malabon belonged to House Obert, long in conflict with Meve's own, and with Meve herself.
Behind their ramparts. Do you see them, Reynard?
Asked Meve, shaking her head.
Countless ballistae, collecting dust, while war rages all around.
Perhaps the Oberts will lend us aid,
Reynard replied.
True, you've been at odds with them in the past, but perhaps now, faced with a common foe.
A common foe?
Snorted the Queen.
You mean Nilfgaard, to whom they opened their gates? Caldwell, whom they supported?
They supported me, Mother.
Villem said.
And I know they share my disappointment with General Ebdai's actions. When they see I now stand by your side, they might forget old wrongs.
If the day comes when I lose all hope, when I feel I shall never fight off Nilfgaard without the Obert's aid,
The Queen said.
then I shall ask for your help. But not a day before.
The Queen marched off, followed by distrustful gazes from the guardians of Malabon Castle. The Queen returned to the walls of Castle Malabon and wrestled with her thoughts. To knock at its gates or not? Ask her longtime foes for help, or let pride win the day?
The things I do for the good of my realm.
Meve sighed.
So be it. Reynard, send a runner to the castle. Tell the Oberts their queen seeks a word.
Moments later, the castle's heavy iron gate creaked open. Meve rode into the cobblestone courtyard, where Margravine Greta, head of the house, greeted her. Although greeted is perhaps not the right word, for Lady Greta granted her only a barely perceptible nod.
What can I help you with, Meve?
The war, my dear. The one being fought outside the walls of your castle.
Greta smiled to herself, then intertwined her brittle, ring-covered fingers.
I'm afraid that's impossible.
It is a vassal's sacred duty to serve her liege, and
my liege is King Villem.
Greta calmly retorted. Hearing his name, Villem stepped forward.
I wish to add my name to my mother's entreaty,
Said the prince.
We tried to pact with the Empire. We trusted General Ebdai's promises, and he broke them, one after the other.
Margravine Greta dropped her gaze. The Oberts had lost lands, their serfs had been deported. Under Nilfgaard's rule, they had lost no less than the other great families.
We can brook no further delay. We must strike, united with all our might. Only thus can we retain hope for a victory.
Mine is long lost.
The noblewoman replied in a whisper.
I watched from my tower as their troops marched past. An endless sea of black plate. But you are right, Your Majesty. At some point, one must say enough. Even if that is one's last word.
Villem grasped the Margravine's brittle hand and bowed.
Thank you. On behalf of myself, my mother, and all our land.
Meve left Malabon Castle reinforced by the Oberts and reassured by Villem's actions. If earlier she had harbored doubts about forgiving her son his betrayal, now she was convinced she had done the right thing.
What can I help you with, Meve?
the war, my dear. The one being fought outside the walls of your castle.
Greta smiled to herself, then intertwined her brittle, ring-covered fingers.
I'm afraid that's impossible.
It is a vassal's sacred duty to serve her liege, and
my liege is King Villem,
Greta calmly retorted.
whom you, Your Grace, have unlawfully captured. I command not enough men to free him from that captivity, but more than enough courage to refuse you.
You dare speak of courage.
Hissed Meve.
You, who handed your homeland to its enemy without a fight.
I followed the Council of Peers' ruling. Nothing more have I to say to you. Leave my home. Begone from my lands.
It is a vassal's sacred duty to serve her liege, and
my liege is King Villem,
Greta calmly retorted.
against whom you have raised arms.
Villem is a usurper. He unlawfully stripped me of my crown.
The Council of Peers deprived you of your crown,
Greta said, pursing her eyes into thin slits.
fearing you would drag this realm into a senseless war. A fear which, it is now abundantly clear, was well-founded.
I have returned home a victor. I defeated the Nilfgaardians in Angren.
Due to a stroke of good luck. You think defeating Caldwell means you can defeat the Emperor as well? Madness, my dear Meve. And my men will not die for madness. Leave my home! Begone from my lands!
I shall go,
Said the Queen.
but I shall return here once I win this war. And I shall reckon then with you and your house.
Meve kicked her spurs and set off at a gallop, sparks flying where horseshoes met cobblestones. For long afterwards, she silently mouthed a litany of curses aimed at the Oberts and their old Margravine.
I shall go,
The Queen said.
and I shall take your war machines with me.
Did I not express myself clearly? I have refused you any aid.
And I have stopped asking.
Meve said, drawing her weapon.
Soldiers! Attack!
Seeing that a battle was imminent, Greta Obert took refuge in the keep. The Margravine soldiers stood ready to defend her life to the very end.
You and Epdahi, you are no different. Congratulations, you've defeated an old woman.
Shocked by this sudden attack, the Oberts never stood a chance of resisting Meve. Realizing their inevitable defeat, Margravine Greta tried to escape, but her horse, frightened by the tumult of battle, tossed her from the saddle and bolted. Meve left Malabon Castle strengthened by the Oberts' war machines, but in dour spirits. She understood that even if she won the war and chased the Nilfgaardians behind the Yaruga, she would still have enemies left on her land.
Quest for death is yours, my queen. We'd rather have an accord with the Blackclads. Get on with them. We march with you, Lyrian beside Rivian, together at the Blackclads. War. War, what is it good for? Absolutely naught. Prince Villem speaks true. No more bending. An end to concessions.